The proceeds went to help fund the No on 9 campaign, which was an effort to defeat an anti-gay initiative on the Oregon ballot that coming November. It had been a year since Kurt had asked me to have DGC change Nirvana's press kit to reduce the emphasis on politics. He didn't want the first impression new fans got of Nirvana to be that they were a political band like the Dead Kennedys or Fugazi, even though both bands had inspired him. Shortly after Nevermind was released, he explicitly laid this concern out in an interview with a Malaysian journalist. We're politically aware as individuals, but we don't like to force our opinions down people's throats. Political bands haven't been very effective. You can't expect a rock and roll band to have a lot of political impact. First and foremost, we're entertainers. However, now that Nevermind had sold millions of albums, he was ready to make a course correction. The persona Kurt created for himself balanced humor, music, and punk anger with progressive values. He embraced his inner dork, but he also hated cultural conservatism. With a sense of greater responsibility driven by his new fame, Kurt decided to be more outspoken on certain political issues, particularly those connected to feminism and gay rights. In that new context, the benefit happened easily. A couple of months earlier, I had gotten a call from Gus Van Sant, the director of the widely acclaimed films Drugstore Cowboy and My Own Private Idaho, who asked me if I would speak at a fundraiser opposing the anti-gay initiative on the ballot in Oregon. It was going to be at his agent John Burnham's house, and Roseanne and Tom Arnold would speak. In those days, Roseanne was a lefty. But they wanted someone representing the ACLU as well. I readily agreed, and then Van Sant sprang his real agenda on me. What about Nirvana doing a benefit concert in Portland to raise money and visibility for the campaign? I knew that Kurt was a fan of his films and would be supportive of the issue, but given the level of commitment a concert involved, I asked the director to make a personal pitch. In due course, Kurt and Courtney came over to our house for dinner with Van Sant and his boyfriend, Dirk-Jan Hanratz, who called himself DJ. Kurt begged off attending the Hollywood fundraiser, which was the next night, as he was never comfortable in that milieu, but he immediately agreed that Nirvana would play the benefit show. DJ recalls Kurt and Courtney earnestly discussing how devastated they were to learn that a rapist had recently sung the lyrics of Polly to his victim. Van Zant's most vivid memory from the evening happened while the four of them were out in our garden smoking cigarettes. Courtney pulled out a music magazine featuring an interview with Pearl Jam. She read each Eddie Vedder quote out loud, followed by several paragraphs of biting commentary while Kurt just watched her grinning. Despite the fact that Kurt had grown to like Vedder personally, he still saw him as a rival and was obviously getting a big kick out of it. It was the only time that Van Sant ever met Kurt. The offensive ballot initiative had been cooked up by a right-wing group called the Oregon Citizens Alliance. Oregon Ballot Measure 9, as it was officially called, would have added language to the state constitution saying, "All governments in Oregon may not use their monies or properties to promote, encourage, or facilitate homosexuality, pedophilia, sadism, or masochism. All levels of government, including public education systems, must assist in setting a standard for Oregon's youth, which recognizes that these behaviors are abnormal, wrong, unnatural, and perverse, and they are to be discouraged and avoided." Among its many odious effects, passage of the bill would have prevented homosexuals from teaching in Oregon's public schools. Oregon had a liberal reputation and a punk rock scene of its own, but the state also had a significant cohort of religious conservatives. Ballot initiatives are always nerve-wracking because a mobilized, impassioned minority can prevail if most voters aren't focused on the initiative and wind up leaving it blank when it comes time to cast their ballot. Scott Nakagawa, the director of statewide development for the No on 9 campaign, explains, "The LGBT community in general was terrified. In 1988, the Oregon Citizens Alliance, OCA, was the sponsor of Ballot Measure 8, which attempted to roll back Governor Neil Goldschmidt's executive order banning discrimination in public employment.